But
not to say it mattered, but at least it was a
Lions,
check.
girl.
Oh my gosh.
What a heartbreaker for Gukesh. It was all your fault. It actually all went downhill after you labeled
Don't
that
try
as a
to pin
perfect
this
game.
on me. You take your voodoo, you take your juju back. You take your voodoo back.
Okay, you focus on fighting Fabby.
I'll focus on fighting Fabby. You focus on throwing me under the bus when I'm not on camera with you and Robert.
Okay,
all right, do your job by throwing me under the bus when I'm not around.
Deal.
Any Hooters. Wow. Okay, the point is, Danya, we all just blacked out, and Magnus wins again.
Mufasa.
That was just wild. Oh man,
that was ridiculous. And that was honestly, I don't want to say most impressive game for Magnus, but to be able to turn things around at the drop of a hat like that, Danny, and then Magnus never just turns it around and draws it. He could have traded queens there in 6 different occasions, but he just knows exactly when he needs to squeeze things out and play for a win. It's an unbelievable talent, actually.
No, it really is. And it's a sixth sense, excuse me. Sorry, Haley Joel Osment. Almost said that movie with a list. Last good work you ever did in Hollywood. Just kidding. Sin City was also great. Sin City was also great. Thank you, Haley Joel. Any Hooters. It's a sixth sense that these guys have, especially the generation of these world's elite, Danya, who grew up online, right? There's an intuitive feel they have for the pressure and the willingness to play with just the increment on the clock. You are part of that generation, too. You're also very good under time pressure. I will compliment you so you don't have to. It's one of the things that makes you so good in those moments. But obviously, these guys are doing it with all due respect on another level, right? Magnus, Hikaru, these guys are, and there's an intuitive feel they have to not take the draw there that is just like mind-blowing in hindsight.
And we take so many things for granted. Another thing we take for granted, to piggyback off of your point, is how little they blunder. Not just how good they play in time pressure in general, but how little they blunder with no time on their clock. I don't understand how they do it. I mean, they get these super complicated positions, and their blunder rate is, of course, blunders happen in time pressure, but exceedingly rarely. With 2 seconds for the rest of the game. It's just nuts. It's honestly, these guys are just amazing.
Magnus inviting the G-pawn to fall, and you can already feel the wind being taken out of Gukesh's sail. Just look at the clock.
Yeah.
What happened after that other win? Gukesh was confident. He was up a minute at one point in that last game, and then here goes Magnus stealing victory from the jaws of defeat, and now Gukesh is, kind of back in a position where he's a little worse, no longer up on time.
Yeah, love the move Bishop D3.
Chat, talking, remind you if you hold Alt when you promote, you can under-promote, even if you have Auto Queen on. We've learned that lesson the hard way.
Queen takes G2 would have walked into castle queenside, and you cannot afford to open up the G file with the white's bishops. I think they're called Horowitz bishops. This is how it was at least taught to me, when you've got one bishop on the long diagonal and one on the B1H7.
I usually call them horror movie bishops, but, same thing.
Gukesh is about to star in a horror movie once these pawns get set in motion.
Are you a star in a horror movie if you die early in the movie? Hashtag Drew Barrymore. Hashtag, who was the famous actress who died in the beginning of Psycho?
Oh my gosh.
I'm not talking about the remake with Anne Heche. I don't even want to talk about that movie.
No. You're talking about the 60s original, the good one.
Yeah, Hitchcock. Anyway, are you a star if the movie starts with you dying because you set the tone for the narrative? I would argue yes. You are. Wait,
it wasn't. Was it Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh no, Jamie Lee Curtis's mom. That's right. It was her mom.
Oh wow.
That's right. That's how you remember it. I forget her name, but she's a famous actress.
Tony Curtis was her dad. I forget the name too.
Yeah. Anyway, Jamie Lee Curtis's mom died in the beginning of the original Psycho. Hashtag remembered that real good. Okay.
Crane.
Yeah, chat's gonna get
Janet. Yeah. Okay.
Janet
thanks.
Lee. Okay, it was Scream where Drew Barrymore died, yes. All right, so Knight B7 is played. The ponies are relocating, but all white has to do is Rekharovka, kingside. Here comes E5.
Oh, nice.
Here comes E5.
No, but the knight coming to D6, I actually think Magnus's decision to play E4 was premature, as reflected in his time usage.
Okay. Yeah, fair. Yeah, because the more you say it, when the knight comes to D6, if E5 is played, you can trade on F5 and D5 falls.
Bingo.
Yeah, okay. I feel you.
Ooh.
I feel you.
Now there are tactics galore with a check on E3. Ooh, there's got to be something here. Maybe a sack on D5. Let's think. I'm drawing a blank, but you see what I'm saying. I mean, White's position is very flimsy, but if Magnus can castle kingside, everything magically resolves itself, and then White is much better. So Black has exactly one tempo to orchestrate something against white's king.
Yeah.
I'm
Good call. Sam Jackson
see
dying in
what.
that shark movie. It was Deep Blue something. No, that was a band in the 90s. Deep Blue something. Shout out to you counting blue cars. Deep Blue something, I think. Anyway.
No, it was Jaws.
Jaws. No, he doesn't. Sam Jackson is not in Jaws, bro. It's a movie where the sharks are super smart and they had some brain steroids or something. And like
okay.
Sam Jackson
that's
gets
outside my.
Yeah, it's
my,
deep. It's deep something. I know it was deep something.
Blue.
That was the computer. Okay,
That's what we call a joke.
G3 is played, and I like the dynamics of this position. Here's what's funny about this position, Don, is like if you give white 2 moves, it's like over. If white gets like bishop G2 and castles, and then just here comes everything. But black senses that and is going to make things happen now while the king is still in the center. I like F5, even if the eval says a little better for white.
Oh, speaking of Jaws, I mean, these 2 pawns, and Gukesh trying to kind of work his way around it, but okay, queen b3 hits the knight, defends the pawn. Magnus going more straightforwardly with rook d1. There's also a discovery against the other bishop, Danny, but I don't think Gukesh is going to be able to handle this with no time. I think now Magnus can just castle and even maybe allow knight takes g3.
Or king f2.
King f2.
Oh,
yeah,
I love that
do
move.
it like a badass.
He walks into the face of danger, puts his running shoes on. Play
now
rook,
queen e3.
Rook H1, I think. You could also just take d4.
You could take d4, and then you give up e5, though. Wait. Now, maybe there's some sort of knight f4 action.
I see that the Smarter Chess prediction has reached 100%. 100%. I mean, that's not really fair, but okay.
But Gukesh,
queen f5.
Gukesh is losing the thread, and Magnus is consolidating again.
But only 5 seconds for Magnus. It's not over. Blunders do happen. Come on, Gukesh. Put the pressure. Rook c... Oh, d2! Wait! Black was winning with rook c2.
Oh!
What is going on?
Wait, are you sure about that? d6? Magnus gives up e5? d7? d7?
1 second. 5 seconds. Rook e2 check and rook d8.
Knight g3! No, knight g3 is
Knight g3! Knight g3 is winning!
It's a huge threat. It's a huge threat.
He was in check, but knight g3 is coming.
1 second move!
1.3. He moved with 0.3.
Oh, now Magnus has no time.
F3.
Move!
Oh, he lost that time! Oh, no, Gukesh. Oh, no.
Rook takes d7. He already did everything he had to do. He's totally winning.